it won't be as echoey and can catch both of you.
That's fine. I don't know how to use that. Is it on? Do we have to do it?
I don't know. Is the light flashing? Does that mean
We're
something?
gonna open it?
Yep. It says on.
Welcome,
Can you hear-
everybody, to the Newton Planning Board meeting dated March 24th, 2026 at 7 o'clock. We will start the meeting with the salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody.
You want me to start?
Yep.
So, I'm Jen Rowden with Rockingham Planning Commission, and I have the unusual position of actually getting to open this year's planning board meeting. And that's because there's the board reorganization as the first act of business, and because the chair did not run again for another term, you are without a chair and a vice chair. So the first point of business is to ask for nominations for this year's chairmanship.
So I am going to nominate Mr. Papachristos for the chairman of the planning board.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, is there any other nominations?
Come on now.
All right, with that, there will need to be a vote to have Mr.
Yeah,
Papachristos.
it'll be a roll call because
Oh,
Barbara's
yep, it'll
on
have to be
there.
a roll call because of Barbara online. But once, if there is a unanimous vote or a majority vote, then Mr. Papachristos will be able to then take over and do nominations for vice chair.
We'll begin with Mrs. White.
Aye.
Mr. Berard,
Aye.
Mr. Marchand,
Aye.
Mr. Puppet. No, you are,
He can vote, he can vote for himself.
oh, he can?
Yep.
Mr. Puppet Christos.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan
Aye.
and Mr. Gibbons.
Aye.
Unanimous.
And then I'm going to make a nomination for Mr. Daniel Barad as vice chair.
I'll second it.
Are there any other nominations? All right, then you need to have another roll call vote.
All right. Mrs. White,
Aye.
Mr. Berard.
Aye.
Oh, excuse, yes, sorry.
Sorry.
Mr. Marchand,
Aye.
Mr. Papa Christos,
Aye.
Ms. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Duncan,
Aye.
and Mr. Gibbons.
Aye.
Again, unanimous.
And just for the record, it would be good to have Mr. Gibbons appointed for one of the empty seats. for
Well,
members
now that we
are
have
here.
a chair, we can appoint him.
Which would be the next move.
There you go. That's you. You're in charge now.
Make sure you bear with me and keep me in
I will
line
do as much as possible, or needed, I should say.
through the process. So next, we,
Would like to appoint him
Right.
as a voting member.
so just so I get this right, we appoint him,
You
Yep.
do, yeah.
not, or do a nomination
No,
to
you can just appoint
You
him.
can just appoint him,
So I appoint Mr. Gibbons for,
Dennis Moran.
it's for Dennis's seat,
It's the only
for
vacancy
Dennis
right now.
Moran's seat,
Be a voting member.
and to be a voting member.
Okay. So that's that.
The next couple of items are heavy me talking. Would you like me to start going through them?
Do we jump up on the one, on the North Main Street, so they don't?
We can certainly take that up. It's up to you.
We probably should do that, so she doesn't have to hang around and listen to all this, right?
All right. Let me give a brief overview, and then I'll have Kat, who is here representing the applicant, come up and speak. The plans that you have in front of you are some documentation and an alteration of terrain permit that was submitted a few days ago because that is one of the conditions of approval of the 104 Main Street subdivision that was approved about a year ago. They have been diligently working on their conditions of approval, which is one of them is the alteration of terrain permit. They are not quite done. In realizing that that had been applied for, I went to go look at what other conditions of approval were still outstanding. There are a few, and realized that their extension request they had put forth back in the summer had expired back in February. It was my recommendation to Kat in reaching out that she could submit a letter requesting a retroactive extension of that conditional approval. The planning board would have the ability to grant an extension if you saw fit. I did recommend if she was able to also attend this evening. So that's kind of the reason that she is before you. You also received a letter that gave a little bit more detail.
Some of us did. Not all of us.
For the record, my name is Catherine Amoral. I'm from Millennium.
The speaker's on, I can barely hear.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
It's green, so I'm gonna say yes. I know sometimes they're better for the people at home and less the people at the table.
Right, for sure.
Is this louder than anything?
You said yes.
They're working on it.
Uh-oh, that didn't sound
Have
good.
it?
I think I do, yeah.
So as
Connected.
Jen's just summarized,
Time.
I think we're better there. As Jen summarized, so in August of, July or August of 2025, we wrote a letter for extension for the February approval. The letter that we wrote, in going back and forth at the time with Andrew, and I think probably Dennis too, they said to me, write the extension for a year, and I recall not being able to attend the meeting that the extension request was heard at. And I got the notice of decision in the mail, and I filed it away like you do. And Jen called me the other day, and she said, hey, you know your notice of decision extension was dated for February 25th. And I said, wait, what? And so here we are. So initially we had applied for the year extension, knowing what we were going through with the gas easement and everything else. And I think the Newton regulations only allow a 6 months extension for the first one, which was not something that I was aware of at the time. And so push comes to shove, here we are. We're working in the background. We had some ongoing coordination with Unitil and with Maine Maritime to work through the gas crossing and checking that off, and the end license agreement. That work is finally complete. We're finally in a position where there was some shifting happening at the state level. That stuff's kind of happened. And so we've kicked everything back off to get Mike ready to go and ready to build. And as Jen said, we just submitted to AOT late last week. That was actually accepted by the state today. And then we've also put in the state subdivision request to create the lots on the state level for the septic systems that will be involved with them. So they're reviewing all of the soils and that kind of things. But I'm here because now we don't have a local approval, and so I'm told that I can ask you to retroactively extend us again until August 25th for real this time, and that's what we'd like to do. Just an oversight on my part, missed it in the notice, and I'm happy to provide any more updates that you need, but that's where we're at.
I will note that should you approve the extension, none of the conditions of approval expire or go away. They still have to meet every single condition set forth from the original conditional approval.
And this was the site with the beehive on it, right?
This is the site with the beehive.
So you guys are familiar. That's the one that we went through all to make sure everything was addressed.
Yep.
And so we've got a nice kind of, that final site plan has a retaining wall that's protecting the beehive and allowing it to stay in place. And the lot holder, the person that buys that lot will have a protective easement in their deed to do that. That was part of our conditions. And that all of that stuff is moving forward well, and a part of this, and legal's dealing with the easements and the beneficiaries and all of that. We're just kind of still in that final stage of permitting at the state level, and then that will open the last thing that we have to do is the wetlands. And so we have been back and forth with the wetland scientist, getting him ready to file for the crossing.
So what are we looking at, in a, say, 6 months extension?
I'm asking till August 25th. And then should we get to like the July-ish meeting and we're still having, conversations with the state and back and forth, then we may see another 3 months on that. The hope is not. Mike really would like to get some activity in there this construction season, so we're hoping that this is a smooth way forward. It very rarely is, so with that being said, August.
Yeah, so it looks like August 25th is the farthest we can go, right?
I'll make
Yeah.
a motion to extend to the August 25th deadline, with the reasoning that it would create financial hardship and that you have been acting in good faith and taking care of everything that we asked to be addressed and taken care of.
Second? Do we have a second?
Yep,
I'll
I'll second, yep.
Are there any other questions, or?
That will require another roll call vote, because if you have someone online, you have to do a roll call vote.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
Please excuse me, cheat sheet. Mr. Berard?
Aye.
And Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Mr. Papachristos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
And Mr. Gibbons?
Aye.
Unanimous. Motion
Thank you
passes.
all. And as we get feedback, we will, I'll keep Jen and, is that Kichi? Mr. Kichi?
Bill, yeah.
Keekly. Okay. I can't see the L from that far away. My apologies. In the loop with any regards, and hopefully we'll be back by August for final approval and getting ready to sign off.
And then I'll work with Mr. Papachristos to get a notice of decision out in the next couple of days.
Awesome. Thank you all so
Excellent.
much.
Thank
you
you.
for bumping me up.
Thanks for coming in.
I mean, you didn't come here to see us. Just-
So next, we'll go with the ordinance update?
Yes, so all of the zoning ordinances that the planning board put forth for town meeting all passed. So I'm gonna work with Bill on getting the zoning ordinance updated so you can have the most recent ordinance up there. The big changes were the accessory dwelling units. We had the citizens petition that passed, and we also had adding multifamily to the commercial districts as required by state law. So everything passed, nothing real dramatic. The biggest thing really, which you already had to follow the state laws for accessory dwelling units because the law changed in July of last year, so that really isn't a big change. It was just now codified in Newton's regulations. So we'll work on getting that out. Hopefully that'll be out and able to be printed for the next planning board meeting. So that's ordinance updates. You want me to move into my next spiel?
Sure.
All right. So the next item with planning report is that Newton was notified about 2 weeks ago at this point, of a development of regional impact by the town of Kingston. And I'm gonna share my screen just so you can see it, but this is the plan set. It's all available online. Give me 1 second, and I will share my screen so you guys can see it. Okay. Just a second. There we go. So this is a 200 plus multifamily development off of 125 and Depot Road in Kingston. So it is not on any immediate Newton border. The development was declared one of regional impact for East Kingston because it is actually very close to their town border, and Newton by the Kingston Planning Board because of, amongst other things, with Newton specifically, shared school district. It's multifamily, so it does have potential impact on the school district. It also straddles some of the groundwater aquifers that serve all three communities. So those were the real big impacts. Traffic was also an impact that was cited. Probably not as big of an issue for Newton, much more so for East Kingston. So because of that, Newton was notified. When there is a development of regional impact, which you guys haven't had too many of, Any municipality can declare a development of regional impact if you think it's going to potentially cause impacts to neighboring municipalities for things like housing stock, mutual aid, sort of shared services like fire, police, wastewater utilities, groundwater impacts, vibrations, transportation networks. It's all codified in state law, but those are sort of the big arching umbrellas. What happens then is that Kingston declares a regional impact, that gives Newton and East Kingston now a butter status. As a community, you can comment to, in this case, the Kingston Planning Board about the application. It also gives Rockingham Planning Commission, because we're the regional planning commission for all three communities, the ability to also provide comment, and we have a butter status. Whenever a community declares a development of regional impact, my office always writes a review memo where we look at the major categories under the state law and evaluate them, not at an immediate community level, but at a higher level. It's a development of regional impact. So we will look at the traffic study to see how it impacts the regional road network. We will look at the school populations. We'll look at the housing stock. So the groundwater impacts, the surface water impacts. We will evaluate it at that level. We are planning to do that for this application. It is being heard by the Kingston Planning Board on April 7th, so Newton certainly could attend. You could develop a letter if you had comments. While it is being heard on April 7th by the Kingston Planning Board, it is very unlikely that it will that it'll actually get approved in one meeting. It will very, very likely require at least 2 meetings, potentially 3. So this is all available up online, but I just wanted to show the big scale of it so you have some idea. And obviously there is also the very heavy.
Help me out again, where is it on, did you say Depot Street?
It's on the corner of 125 and basically Depot Street. Let me zoom in, sorry, I got stuff.
What was the total amount of units?
It's about 220, it might be 225, 228.
50 Depot Street.
Yeah. So,
Where's Depot Street?
I'm looking.
so this is 125 coming down through Kingston, and then this is Depot Road headed into East Kingston.
You know, it's funny, I drove by today and I saw some tree work being done. I'm assuming it's related.
There are a couple of other developments that are being built in that area. There's a 9-lot subdivision happening in that vicinity. This happens to be the very big development that's happening. Let me scroll down to the plan set.
Oh, Depot, right here.
So it is a multiple building,
Of course, right there.
multifamily. It's a combination of some duplexes, a couple of quadplexes, all around some common areas. They will all be private roads coming. So this is on the top of the screen is 125. On the left side is Depot Road. So it will all be serviced by septic systems. So this is a fairly large development in this region for multifamily on septic. It has to meet all state regulations. Kingston has exactly the same kind of regulations for stormwater that Newton has. Their groundwater are very comparable to what you have. It will be on-site wells that will be public water systems. None of them reach over into Newton's boundaries at all.
Jen, who's the builder?
I don't know, I think I might have a problem. That's the way I travel to go to Market Basket up in Epping, and that building, there could be too much traffic there for me.
Buss and O'Neill out of Manchester is the engineering
As soon as
firm.
I saw it
I don't
was
know who the actual builder would be.
right there by Powell Road where it came out, I'm like, hey,
Jen, curious on when you said like we are abutters, meaning anybody in the town could speak at the meeting?
No, meaning the town of
Okay,
Newton.
all right.
So and typically when we have, it's the planning board or conservation
Right.
commission or select board or zoning board. So I serve as the circuit rider planner for East Kingston and for Newton at this point. East Kingston, I will say, is very concerned, mainly about the traffic. They don't share the school, so that's not their concern. Specifically, they're somewhat concerned about the level of development in the area, a little bit concerned about water. I don't think, other than potentially school children, which even a development of this size is really not a huge number when you spread out how many kids might potentially be in there, spread out over the course of a kindergarten through 12 age population and over time. The number of children is probably not dramatic.
Would it be 7 through 12 that we're,
I'm sorry, 7 through 12,
Yeah.
you're right. But still the same principle of, how many kids in those grades over what time frame.
To be honest, it might help.
220 units, be lucky if there's 50 kids.
Yeah.
They're probably statistically
I mean,
won't
with the-
even be that.
With
Yeah, the
the,
biggest problem would be them traveling Depot Road back down towards Amesbury, that way, through East Kingston.
Yeah, and the traffic impact study does suggest that Depot Road will have more traffic.
Oh, yeah.
125 will be able to absorb it without, you won't even be a blip. If in that immediate area, certainly people will notice more traffic, but it is a state road.
Yep.
Not Depot Road, is it? Depot Road's a state road?
It's 107.
Yeah.
That's part of 107?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
107 and 107A is
That corner,
very, so
There?
that will probably clog the intersection a little bit there, going to 125
So
and
it is true
107A
that
and.
certain times of day you will certainly see more cars. Is it,
Out of there already going to 125.
Stuff for something like that.
realistically, is it such an impact that there will be dramatic impact to the transportation network? No. People that live there, if you travel through it, will you notice something? Yes.
I would imagine if the traffic study shows anything, they'll end up doing turning lanes or whatever.
It does
something.
not, based on the traffic study that they've submitted, it does, and they will have to get a state driveway permit.
Right.
It does not appear to necessitate, because it's all of, personal vehicles, it's not heavy truck traffic.
Right.
There really isn't the need.
So
The volume's not there.
I can't tell from looking at it from here, but the entrance to it looks like it's
it's on
on
107.
125.
No, I don't, no, it's on 107.
It's on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is 107, and this is 125 on top. So there's only a singular entrance, and that's why you've got all the loop roads.
Okay,
No,
further
on
back
this
that
one,
way,
we don't,
okay.
we don't have those, yeah. No, that's all right, seriously. No, but that
at
is one.
least the-
Roll this out if anybody wants to see the paper
At
aspect.
least the entrance, they have it further back than like way right up by the
Yeah.
set of lights, you
Correct.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
The other thing is, at least there's lights there already. Not that I mean, it won't eliminate traffic, but it's not like a stop sign where people are trying to make lefts and rights there.
Yeah.
over the years, there have been a number of applications for this property. Not all of them residential, some of them sort of mixed use or just commercial. And they almost all tried to have a outlet on 107 and 125, and that caused a lot of problems. Partially because 125 is just a very heavily traveled. Right, and no one wants another light. So this seems to have woven at least that issue for DOT.
Yeah.
They did have to get a couple of variances from the Kingston Zoning Board related to some groundwater and a few setbacks. But at this point, they have gotten all of those variances, so they are before the planning board.
Yeah, but I mean, if they did just a right turn only out of there on 125, that wouldn't have been so bad. I can see them trying to cut across, you know what I mean, to hang a left
Yeah.
on 125, but if they wanted to travel north on 125, a right-hand turn only wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, one of the other issues is there's an access road. It's a 50-foot access road that kind of parallels 125 in that area, and that required additional relief and coordination with the state, and they really didn't want
Yeah,
them
it would,
crossing that.
I can see the state pushing back,
Yeah, we don't want to dump any more traffic onto that.
Yeah.
So what will be happening is that before the April 7th meeting, my office will be issuing a memo with staff review. It'll be me and some of the transportation planners. Issuing our memos are usually 2, maybe 3 pages, depending on detail. So we will have that in time for Kingston's planning board. And I say this because that gives you a couple of weeks to think about it. If come in our meeting in 2 weeks, you really do have some comments, and they can just be small comments, they don't have to be big, but if you have comments as a board that you would like to send to Kingston, we can work on that, and it could be a letter. You are also allowed to, if you talk about it and sort of authorize someone to attend the meeting on the planning board's behalf, you could do that as an alternative. If you choose as an individual to go to the Kingston Planning Board hearing, you certainly may do so because it's a public meeting. I would just caution, don't speak on behalf of the planning board. You could bring up that the planning board discussed it and people had a few comments. It's a nuanced but slightly different way of addressing it.
My opinions are not representative of our planning board, essentially.
Unfortunately, we have a selectmen's meeting that night, so I will not be able to attend.
Well, if we look at it ahead of time now, and we have stuff that we're concerned about, one of us can go.
And I can email out the Kingston website where all of the documentation is. It's more than just this plan set. It's also got the stormwater, the traffic impact study. It's got the architectural renderings, which I will say, it is an attractive development. I don't normally say that about development. This one, at least, architecturally is nice looking.
So any comments are gonna have to be brought up and given to somebody or to Jen
Right.
by the end of next Friday. Because there's a
If you wanna-
week and a half.
Yeah, if you want to submit anything as a board, we either should talk about it tonight, or we should have it be an agenda item on the April 14th meeting, which you would still have the opportunity because they won't get through this application in one meeting for their
right,
next meeting.
yeah.
So if you take a look and you have thoughts between now and this board's next meeting, I would recommend just emailing them to me, and then we can gather them in one spot. Or if you just have questions, you can do that too, and we can discuss at the next board meeting. Sort of what you would like to do, if anything, and you don't have to comment as a board either. I will say the select board can also take a look at it, and the zoning board and the conservation commission, if they would like. I don't know that any of the boards specifically would have comments, but
Do they have some thoughts or?
honestly, it's sometimes good to just look at what's going on in other towns.
Yeah.
So I will email out that application link and the sort of summary, and when RPC does our letter, I'll make sure that it's sent to everyone as well.
Excellent.
You all set?
I am all set with that point. The one other item I have is that you do have an application for the April 14th meeting. It is a design review. It is for one of the lots that is back behind the 4 industrial buildings that Mr. McDonough had put forth that got approved, only where 2 of the buildings have been built and the other 2 have not. It's a design review to do a fuel distribution development. They are just coming in, they want to present it. They weren't able to get the full application in beforehand, so they wanted to get some feedback from the board. I know a few of their questions are related to impacts to wetlands because they would need some small relief to be able to build some of the structures in the wetland setbacks. And they wanted some clarity on a few items related to that.
So, just because I haven't been through a design review, it's non-binding, we're not voting on anything, it's just a discussion, correct?
It's non-binding,
Yep.
all abutters are notified, that is
Okay.
one of the conditions. So it will be noticed. They're likely to have some abutters that show up, it wouldn't surprise me just knowing the property. It is just a presentation where the applicant can present something and you can have a discussion, but no one is bound by any comments or questions.
So this is right where you just put up the new building and they did the other 2, right?
This is a
Partial
little
of the
past
one?
there and to the left.
Okay.
So it is not one of the 4 buildings that.
Okay, so it's further up
It
and
is
then
further
on the
up.
left?
Yep, but it's
Okay.
in that vicinity.
Is that going to put it closer to the Sergeant Woods property?
No, it's actually farther. It's farther away from
Farther away?
Sergeant Woods.
Okay.
Farther away, yeah, and it'll be.
That's behind the
to the
the
left.
tax office, that
It'll be
entrance, right?
closer to the Plastow line.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When
All
you
right, gotcha.
say fuel distribution,
Information on 21 Chase Road.
Yeah, obviously with the wetlands and stuff back there, like when you say fuel and like being stored there,
just
that's the
wondered
big thing. Yeah.
What's that?
Is it a subdivision?
Storage tanks?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me,
Project
but
that was going on earlier.
just curious if she knows what they,
They came to,
looking
they've
at.
gotten all the variance approvals, and now it's into planning.
Okay.
Jen, when you say fuel distribution, what are they talking?
I'll be honest, I haven't dived that far into the application. I only got the application late last week.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
My memory, and don't quote me on this, even though it'll be in the minute, I believe it was propane. It wasn't oil, it wasn't gasoline, but I think it was propane.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because that area is now a,
It is an area in the aquifer protection, that's true, that
Yes.
is true. It was not something that instantly would need a variance, though, that's why I tend to think it was propane.
Perfect.
We good?
I can say more words if you want me to.
Next, we have the acceptance of our meeting minutes from, okay.
I'll make a motion to
February. What's the right date, though, first? Is it the 13th or the 10th?
It was the 10th. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was the 10th.
It was the 10th.
Yep.
No. Sorry, yes, it was the 10th,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so the acceptance of the meeting minutes from February 10th meeting.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written for the February 10th meeting, 2026.
I will second.
We have to have roll call?
You
Yeah,
do.
because Barbara's up there.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
Mr. Berard?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Mr. Papachristos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
If I wasn't here for that meeting, does
No,
it matter?
excuse me.
It actually does not matter if you believe that they are accurate minutes.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Believe you.
I believe they're accurate minutes.
And Mr. Gibbons?
Aye.
Unanimous. Motion passes.
Okay. As far as other business, do we have any other business? Does anyone have anything?
I don't think we do,
No.
right?
Congratulations to Stan and Rachel,
Yep.
obviously new members of the board.
Welcome.
Welcome is
It's a
right.
pleasure to have you aboard.
I hope
The
it will
two
be
of
a
you.
good experience.
I think Barbara.
Yeah, this is Barbara. Before you sign off, I'm thinking that maybe the Conservation Commission needs to be aware of this fuel distribution, the potential fuel distribution.
Yep, I've got it written down.
Barbara, we can make sure that they get notified. It is specifically, though, just a design review for that application, but certainly the Conservation Commission can be notified and provide any comment or come if they want to.
Great, thank you very much.
Thanks, Barbara.
Anything else?
Okay.
So with all that said, the meeting is adjourned at 7:33.
Very good.
Excellent.
All right, okay, excellent. No refreshment?